Welcome back to The Right Gun. If you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe, and share. Help me grow this channel and the community. And speaking of growing the community, this week we hit 1,500 subscribers, so thank you very much. We're getting very close to monetization. So again, please like, subscribe, and share. This is part 2 of my So You're in the Military and You're Getting Ready to Retire video series. If you haven't seen the first video, I highly recommend going back and checking it out. 1, because I shamelessly want the views, but 2, it kind of talks about my methodology and the reason why I am doing this video series. But to recap, I spent 22 and a half years in the military. I retired about 4 years ago, and people that I know are still calling me up asking me for advice on how to retire. They thought I had a pretty good retirement plan. They thought that I set myself up really well, and they saw me go through the retirement process and not be stressed out. And so they just continue to ask me for advice. So I thought I have a little bit of a platform that I can get the word out about how to retire out of the military, or at least some, tips, tricks, and tactics that you can use to make your retirement less stressful. And so I decided to do this video series. So without further ado, let's get into this. As I said in the first video, we're going to keep a little bit of military bearing here. So here is your op order: situation, mission, execution, service support, command and signal, and coordinating instructions. Mission. Your mission is to understand the TAPS process, or the transition assistance programs that are available to you on your military post or on your military base. You want to understand how to maximize it, and you want to understand how to make that a combat multiplier. Execution, we're going to break this down into timed phases. So again, we're starting at 24 months. I believe 24 months is the sweet spot for beginning all of your planning for your retirement. So we're going to go 24 months to 18 months, 18 to 12, 12 to 6, 6 months to 90 days, and 90 days to 0 days. 0 day is your retirement date, not when you start terminal leave. Service support, we're going to examine what is available to you at your place of duty or your duty station. And I'm going to talk about what I think is beneficial. Command and signal. This is going to be your post or your base TAPS program office, and it's also going to be your literal chain of command. Some people have a very, very easy time navigating kind of the politics of retiring, and there are some politics there. You need to set yourself up. Again, that's what this is for setting yourself up to that trajectory so you can disengage from your unit. You can do the things that you have to do to leave the military. The military was there before you. It will be there after you, okay? You do not need to work up until your terminal leave. In fact, I recommend that you don't work all the way up until your terminal leave. There are things that you have to do to get yourself ready to transition to that next we'll just say that next life experience that you're going to have. Some people, they may not have a spouse, they may not have kids, and this may be, what they want to keep doing. That's fine. They are the exception. Coordinating instructions. I'm going to harp on this some more, but that is building that professional network outside of the military. I highly recommend going out, seeing what's out there. If there is a small business or a local small business Rotary Club that meets for coffee and donuts, once a week, once a month or something, call them. Just go on the internet, type in something exactly like that. Wherever I live, if I'm at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I'm going to type in Clarksville Small Business Rotary Club Breakfast. You should see something that gives you some links to that. Call the organizer, just say, hey, I am in the military, I am retiring. So some of these people in the Rotary Club, you'll still find some of those old-fashioned people that say, hey, we truly want to take care of our veterans. We don't want to patronize them with a thank you for your service. We want to get to know them. We want to learn what benefit they can bring to my business, and I want to hire them. So that's why I highly recommend building that professional network outside of the military environment. All right, next up, you should be seeing the Army TAPS website. We'll go over a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go through, at the bottom there, you see that 8-step TAP process there, or TAP timeline, I think is what they call it. Let me check my notes. Yes, the TAP timeline. We're going to go over some of that. I'll highlight the ones that I think are really important, and we're going to gloss over a couple, three of these that just, frankly, it didn't apply to me, but when I did research on it, it was like, it was kind of seemed like it was hit or miss. You will see something up there that says, you can set yourself up, at the Army 24/7 Virtual Center. If they give you the opportunity to do a virtual TAP, do not take that. If you need to go TDY somewhere to attend a TAPS program, I highly recommend doing that. There is just a lot of stuff that they need to tell you by law. And there's just a lot of good information in there. There's some that's eye-stabbingly stupid. Yes, it's the military. But there is some good stuff that you need to know. And at least for me, I needed to hear it. And then I'm going to talk about kind of the philosophy that you have to have sitting through this TAPS class. All right. TAPS Step 1 process. As you can see, it's to begin no later than 365 days. If you are starting, now, we all know sometimes life happens and, okay, I'm retiring next year. Fine. This is for the people who are able to plan that out. I still think those people who are looking at a rapid retirement, they can still learn some stuff from this, but your timeline is going to be considerably compressed. And so the end of this video, when I start showing the calendar for those 365-day people, I would recommend that you tune into that. But as you see there in the second line, it says the TAPS process should start at least 2 years out. So you are authorized 2 years from your estimated retirement date. And I believe 2 years is the key just because of all the things that you need to do. This way you're not stressed about it. 2 years gives you enough time to, in my case, I don't know if this is the same for NCOs, but for officers, you have to write to your personnel command, you have to request the permission and the privilege of retiring from the military, and then I had to wait for that letter to come back before I could start my retirement process. Before I could start anything else, I had to get that letter that said, I am able and eligible to retire. So NCOs, or if anybody's different, drop comments below and kind of describe your situation. I'd actually be kind of curious to read that. And maybe if I was a better officer, I might know that, but I'm not. Not anymore anyways. The individualized counseling, the ICC, or IIC, didn't have that. I didn't have really an opportunity to do that. Again, I was at Offutt Air Force Base. I just went and kind of developed my own professional mentor network. That's what I did. There was some reach back to some, mentors who were in my career field, senior officers that I worked with, just things like that. So it would have been nice to have, unique needs of my transition to be explained to me, but, we all forge on with the mission. Would I like to have it? Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't talk to it, so I apologize. Step 3, though, this is important because, and I'm going to read this verbatim. So your pre-separation counseling covers, by law, information to include benefits and entitlements to you. Again, these are benefits and entitlements. You earned them. You need to know about them. There are a lot out there, but just like any other government organization, you have to fill out the paperwork correctly. They're not just going to hand everything out to you. You need to understand how to utilize the system, and that's what this is kind of doing, is trying to point you in that direction so you can understand and utilize that system. And again, entitlements, it sounds hokey. There's still some people out there, and I hope the people watching this are those people that really kind of believed in the service, cherished the service, cherished their role. But you really have to change that mindset of I'm giving, and now it's time for you to receive. And sometimes that's a hard pill for people to swallow. So just keep that in the back of your mind. One quick anecdotal story I will say is I was waiting. So I got hired on at a think tank, and I work back on base. It's a great job. I love it. But when I was making that transition back, I walked to the security office because I had to see if my security clearance had been updated. The person behind the counter, I asked, hey, yes, I know it's a Friday afternoon, but it's still, 1 o'clock. Did you get my security clearance? Can I proceed with the rest of the security clearance, indoctrination processing, and all that. They literally take a stack of papers and go like this. No, I didn't get it. And I was about to knife hand out. I was about ready to lay into him, and then I said, wait a minute, I am retired. I do not need to do this. This is not my problem. This is HR's problem. I will allow HR to do their job rather than, go, high order on this person. I'll tell you what, too. I don't feel bad about not going, not reverting back to type and going high order on the person. It was kind of refreshing, and the rest of my Friday afternoon was a lot better for it. So again, pleasant surprise. But I was less than a month out of the military at that point. So again, it's a mindset shift. Step 4, your MOS crosswalk. Absolutely do this. If you have some of the hard skill MOSs, you absolutely need to do this. Even if you don't have hard skill MOSs, you may think, yes, obviously some of that stuff is easy. Some of it doesn't translate as easy. But these people are there to help you make that translation. And so, just give them a chance. They may open your eyes and give you new ways of thinking about, the job or the duty that you did. One thing I will tell you, if you're going for some more of the, we'll just say, complex corporate jobs, is they want to know it's all about money. How did you manage a program to save money? How did you restructure funds, repurpose funds, save money, cut costs, stretch the dollar? If you can do that, if you can relate your information back to resource management, and by resource management I need making dollars go farther and actually showing metric improvement, you're golden. Step 5, this is one of the most important ones, Veterans Affairs. Okay, you need to have a bunch of coffee and you need to be paying attention to this module. Whenever this is, do this module. Be there for the whole thing. If you can do this one twice, I recommend doing it twice. They will give you a book. I put a link in my first video, and I'll put it in again for the PDF for all of the veterans benefits. This is your life. This is your next life. You need to understand that. Again, this sets you up. This kind of has 3 components to it, and this sets you up for understanding the VA. Understand that right now the VA doesn't want you because you are active duty, you are DOD. Once you retire, that day after your retirement, you are now the VA's property. So, again, I said 3 points that this sets you up for. 1 is understanding the VA. Number 2 is getting you ready to sit down with that VA counselor. So you have your medical records. You'll go through those medical records. You should go through that. You should go through your medical records by yourself beforehand. Write down everything, and I talked about that again in the first video. But when you have your adjudication with the VA counselor, that is at day 180. At day 180, that's when you need to be sitting down with the VA adjudicator. You can't do it. You can't do it at 181 days, but at 180, that's when you can start talking with the VA rep. So at 180, and well before 180, you need to get that appointment locked in, and it should be on between day 180 and day 170. Okay, I keep harping on this. I know I've beat it to death, but right at that 6-month window, inside of that 6-month window, you need to be meeting with the VA. Do not wait. Do not wait. Do that right at 6 months. And then that sets you up for your physical evaluation appointment to determine your VA rating eligibility. So all 3 of these things come in line. Understanding the VA, sitting down with the VA adjudicator to get to the appointments to get your VA disability rating. Again, hear me on this part. When you go in for the physicals for your disability rating, they are going to ask you a bunch of questions, and they're going to ask you to do a bunch of things. They're going to ask you to stretch, tell us where it hurts. They're going to listen for the popping, or what they call crepitus. But one of the things they're going to ask you to do, just as an example, bend over and touch your toes, stop where it hurts. Okay, Your mission is not to touch your toes. Your mission is to stop where it hurts, okay? The Army or whatever service you're in is not going to drive past your house late at night wondering what you're doing. They're not going to do that. This time is for you. If you can get your arms to your knees and that's where it hurts, that's where you stop. Even if you can push past that, where it starts to hurt, that's where you stop. And you need to be honest. You're not doing yourself any favors by acting tough and saying, well, I can do this, but I'm not going to tell them. I can really, keep pulling it that way. Okay, you need to be honest with them. That shoulder injury that you had, that you went to the TMC for, and they gave you vitamin M, and you've pushed through the pain for the last couple of years, no. You need to make sure that that is fully documented. You need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Step 6, employment fundamentals, career transition. Yeah, great. That could mean a bunch of different stuff. What I looked out for at Offutt was they had small business owners come in who were vets, and they talked about their transition experience, and they just had a bunch of people come in and talk about what it's like running their own small business. I would highly recommend doing something like that. They also had like kind of a test that you would take to say, it's kind of like the high school test, are you going to be a garbage man, or are you going to be a scientist type of thing. I recommend taking those. You may learn something. They may even throw a Myers-Briggs personality test in there. I recommend it. Step 7 didn't really apply to me. I didn't have access to this. It sounds like it could be pretty interesting, and it sounds similar to what they offered us at Offutt, where they had the small business leaders come in. Do that and take advantage of that out there. Skills Bridge. If you have the chance to do Skills Bridge, I highly recommend it. I did Skills Bridge. It was, I started that so I retired at the end of June. So basically January 1 is when I started Skills Bridge. So I had 4 months of Skills Bridge, and then I had like 2.5 months of terminal leave. So Skills Bridge is where you go out, you basically find yourself a company who will hire you on for 4 months. It is in your best interest to show up every day, clean shaven, work hard for them, get the experiences, and then you get a little bit of a resume out of that. And if you're lucky, you may get a job offer out of that. They are under no obligation to give you a job, but just check out Skills Bridge. It's very good. Plus, it gets you out of the military about 4 months or about 6 months early, but it helps you understand what that corporate or that civilian mindset is. So it's a good learning experience. Step 8, I didn't have a capstone experience like they're talking about. Don't know what this is. If other people have, drop comments in below. Didn't have anything like that. What I can tell you was that I just worked with my chain of command. I worked with the people that I worked with. And at about 6 months out, they had, since they knew I was doing Skills Bridge, I just basically provided them with a calendar of events that I was doing, made sure they had my contact information in case they needed anything. So that's what I did. Speaking of calendars, right here popping up should be a calendar. This is just a blank calendar. I think I got it from calendars.com, or you can go create it in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever. But I used this almost exclusively for my last 18 months in service. And here's what I did. So I have 24 months to 18 months out there. That's fine. You can put some big rocks on there. You could print out 24 of these and start filling in dates, as you need. But at 18 months is when I really started putting appointments down on there. So you need things like your doctor's appointments, the times you need your medical records, when the TAPS classes are. If you can't go to one, then you need to understand when you can go to the next one. Some of those things like the transition assistance classes, you need to start marking those out. And at 6 months, so 18 to 12 months should be big rocks. 6 months, your calendar needs to get very much more granular. You need to be having appointment times setting down. Again, at 179, 180, 179, you need to have that VA appointment scheduled. All right. So you should have that, and then you're going to get your VA appointments for your rating eligibility. So you need to start tracking that on there. And then your last 90 days, probably 90 to 60 days is going to be very, very full. And then that last 60 days, hopefully you're on terminal leave. And then that brings me to my last point of disengaging from your unit. I do know one person who was accepted to a Skills Bridge program. Their command deemed that they were much too important to let go for 4 months. And so, in my opinion, this guy got screwed and was not able to get some valuable, some valuable civilian career education that could have really helped him out. I'm not saying every command is like that, but some are. So you need to understand that, and you need to know how to navigate that. So let me recap the highlights. At 24 months is your sweet spot for really setting yourself up for retirement. You need to understand and work with the Transition Assistance Program Office, understand what's available to you and what your timelines are. You need to always keep in the back of your mind that 6 months from retirement is when you can meet with the VA, have your medical records well before that. Every night I would put the kids to bed, I would break out my medical records, I got them on CD, I highly recommend getting them on CD. I'd pop them in the computer, set up my laptop. I'm not really a big beer drinker, but for some reason when I was doing this, I felt like I needed to have a beer. So I had my laptop. I had a couple of blank pieces of paper. I wrote out the timeline for my service and duty stations. And over the course of about 5 nights, I just kind of recounted my career by dates and locations. And I would search through the PDFs on my medical records for those dates. And I would have my beer sitting right next to me. Again, don't know why. Just felt like I needed the beer doing that. It was a great time. It was just kind of it was nice to just kind of reflect and go over that. And then that really helped me set up for meeting with the VA adjudicator. So when she was able to ask me questions, I was able to have a good recall of injuries and things like that. I forgot that I had to be seen after a deployment, went to podiatry because of all of the uneven surfaces that we were walking over in Iraq, and had some ankle, foot, and hip issues. I had totally forgotten about that. I actually forgot I had broken a leg on a jump one time, if you can believe that. So, you've had a long military career. You're going to forget things about that. This is a time for you to go through and understand the benefits that are legally obligated to you. And there are a lot. And then last but not least is, again, the politics and the philosophy of disengaging from that unit. We've all heard of the toxic leaders who are going to be like, nope, you're expected to do here and figure out taps on your own time. That is the wrong answer, and that is illegal. They cannot do that. So understand the climate you're in, understand how to navigate that. So again, if you are retiring from the military service, I hope this has been beneficial. I hope you have gained something out of it. I hope that you're still watching this arguably mediocre content, and I hope that this helps you out in some way, shape, or form. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service, and I hope to help make your transition out of service hopefully just a little bit easier and set yourself up. In the next video, I'm going to say this, so if I promise it, I'll have to do it. We're going to talk a little bit about setting yourself up for finances and some of the VA stuff that you're going to do on down the road, and benefits like Title 32, DEA, things like that. So if you don't know what those are, tune back in a couple weeks and we'll get into those. So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share.